Dear participants, I welcome all of you in this lecture on programming in Python, where we will discuss some more part of functions. And last class, we discussed a function and how to write a function. We have seen syntax of function, and similarly, we have seen how a function can return a value. So, we have already discussed all these in last lecture. In today's lecture, we will discuss types of arguments. There are different ways, there are different types of arguments are there in function. So, positional arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments, variable length arguments. So there are different variation of arguments that you can pass in a function call. So, arguments. What is argument? So, arguments are the data type you pass when a method is called. When you are calling a method, so the value that you are passing is actually an argument. Argument is the actual value that gets passed to a function. And what is parameter? A parameter is a variable in a method definition. So, this is the difference. So, argument is when you are calling a function and the value that you are passing during the function call. And the parameter is the variable which is defined during the function definition. And an argument can be divided into different categories: positional argument, keyword argument, default argument, variable length arguments. And what is positional argument? So, positional argument passing is a method of passing values to parameters in a function using the convention of position of the parameter to the called function. So, it is a very basic type of argument. Whenever you write a function, so if you are passing a value in an argument without keyword or without any default value, so that is the positional argument. So, in positional argument, position of argument matters. If you would alter the position of the argument, then some different value will be passed to the parameter. So, it is very important if you are using positional argument. So, let us say there is a function and I am calling that function. Just suppose I have designed a function underscore m, suppose sum underscore m, and it is supposed to sum 5 different values. Let us say a, b, c, d, e, f, right. So, this is the function call. So, a will be passed to the parameter in the definition of this function. So, somehow you have defined the function. You know, if you are calling this function, it means you have already defined the function, right. So, this value will be passed to the very first parameter, then the next value will be passed to the next parameter, and so on. So, it means the position would actually matter. So, the number and position, or you could say order of arguments, are important in this case. Like there is an example here. We are passing, so this is the function definition, right? And this is the function argument. These are actually argument, and these are parameters. These are parameters. So, here the value is passed as summer 30 PhD. So, summer will be stored in this variable, 30 would be stored in age, and PhD would be stored in this particular variable. But if you are altering the position, so then 6 would be stored in name and summer would be stored in age, and again 2 will be stored in qualification, which is not right in this case, right. So, as far as positional argument is concerned, you have to consider the position and you cannot alter the position. If you are altering the position, it means syntactically it is right, but logically it is not right. So, value would be something different, right. Like in this case, for this function call, what would happen? So, it would the function would be executed and it would give the output like the age of 6 is summer. The age of 6 is summer as far as this function call is concerned. So, which is not right. So, in case of positional argument, position matters. Now the next one is keyword argument. So Python allows passing arguments as keyword arguments as well. In this case, the order of the argument doesn't matter. You are actually passing the value using the keyword. So in this case, position does not matter. And when you use keyword argument in a function call, the caller identifies the argument by the parameter name. So depending on the name of the parameter, it is the value would be, or you could say argument would be identified. One thing is important here, the keyword arguments may follow positional argument, right? The keyword arguments may follow a positional argument, but not vice versa. So, like I'm calling a function fun. So, I can write 3, 4, let's say a is equal to 4. Let me discuss one example first, then I will come to this scenario. So, how actually, first we need to discuss how we are passing the argument. So, this is the function definition, and in this way I am passing the argument. So, this is the keyword arguments. So, you are passing the value using the keyword. Name is the parameter name, right? Similarly, this is age is the parameter variable. Similarly, qualification is the parameter variable, like you can see here. So, I am passing the argument using the name of the parameter. So, if you would alter the this sequence of argument in this function call, so it doesn't matter because we are passing the value using the keyword. So, it would work fine. Again, this will also work fine. And one thing more here, that the case I was discussing in the previous slide. If you are passing, so this is the positional argument, right? And these are keyword argument. So, you cannot write positional argument after the keyword argument. Suppose we have given this, suppose there is one more function. Let me write this one. Suppose there is one more function call, like in this case, new function and name is equal to xyz, let's say xyz, then suppose PhD and then age is equal to 30. So, this is not valid statement since position argument is coming after the keyword argument. So, this is not a valid statement in Python. Now, the next one is default argument. Python allows a default argument in the function definition using the assignment operator at the time of function definition. When you are defining the function, you can assign certain values as well. That is called default argument. A default argument assumes a default value if a value is not provided in the function call for that argument. If you are not passing the value from the function call, then the default value will be assigned to that variable. So, any number of argument in a function call can be default argument. So, as many as, suppose we are having 10 parameters in a function definition and all are declared as a default parameter. So, during the function call, you can pass default values to all. If you are not passing any argument during the function call, so all tail value will be initialized. You need not to pass the values. But if you are passing the value from the function call, then that value will be overridden. So, all the argument to the right side of any default argument must be default. So, this is the case. All argument to the right side of any default argument must be default. I will discuss these two points. In the function definition, the position argument cannot follow default argument. So, like in this case, let me discuss first how actually we write default argument. So, this one is the default argument. Default parameter you are passing. So, we call it default argument. When you will calling the function, so actually like in this case, you are calling this function without the without any argument, like in this case. So, what would happen? length will be initialized with 1, width will be initialized with 1, and height will be initialized with 1. Like in this way, you can call a function. Similarly, if you are calling a function, so if you are calling a function like in this case, and you are passing one value 10, so 10 will be initialized to very first parameter. So length would be 10, and the rest of the parameter will remain 1. Now consider third case in this. So it is 10 and 5 is being passed here. So 10 will be initialized to 10 will be provided to length, and y will be stored in width, and height will remain 1. Now consider the fourth function call. So here all the value will be overwritten. So all length would be 10, width would be 5, and height would be 2. Now consider one more case here where we are passing 10. 10 will be passed to length, and width will be 20, and height would remain 1. So in this way, we actually pass the default argument. Now come to this these two important concepts. So all the argument to the right side of any default argument must be the default, right? It means if you are passing, you cannot say like this. Suppose I'm writing one more function like box volume and length is equal to 1, and then 20, and then height is equal to 5. So this is not a valid statement, since this positional argument is coming after the keyword argument. So all the default argument should be at right. So this is the concept. The second one says in the function definition, the position argument cannot follow default argument. So it means I cannot write 1 here, or let's say you want to height only. Instead of height equal to 1, I'm just writing, let me erase this one. I'm just erasing this one. So right, instead of height is equal to 1, I cannot write only height in this case, because here position parameter is following the keyword parameter. So this is not valid case. I will try to show you all these once I will move to IDLE. There is one more option, variable length arguments, right? So let me open IDLE, and I will discuss keyword argument and positional argument, and then I will come to this variable length argument. Let's say you are writing a function, let's say fun1, any function fun1, and you are returning a value. Suppose let's say a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to 4, right? And you want to print all these. That's it. Print a comma b comma c. Okay, and I'm calling I'm calling this function fun1. So I'm giving values 12 first, and let's say what would happen. I'm executing this one. So you can see here 12 value of a, default value of a has been overwritten here, right? And the remaining value will remain as it is. Let's say I'm giving here 10, then 30. So all value will be overwritten, right? And suppose I'm passing c only here, right? So this is the position parameter. This was the default parameter, right? Let me execute this one, and let's say what would happen. Let's see what would happen. So it is giving me one error. What is the error? Parameter without a default follows parameter with a default, right? So that was I was discussing. I cannot give a positional parameter after the keyword parameter. So this is not correct, right? So I can give a single position parameter here. So it would work fine, right? It would work fine. But you cannot give position parameter after the keyword parameter. Okay, so that is the concept. Now here I can pass let's say c is equal to 20, right? And let me execute this one. So you can see here, this c has been updated here. So the default value was 4. Now I am passing 20 here. So it would be updated. And let's say I am passing b is equal to 10. So again it would work. B is equal to 100, let's say. And let me execute this one. So what would happen? 100 would be overwritten. Now I am passing 20 here, right? So no, it is giving me error. What is the error? Positional argument follows keyword argument. So this should not, this is not the valid case. So position argument cannot follow the keyword argument, right? So that was I was discussing, these two concepts, which is very important in function. Let me come to the next part of the slide. Now we'll discuss variable length argument. So what is variable length argument? It may be required to process a function for more argument than is specified while defining a function. Suppose you have defined only one parameter, but somehow you want to receive more than one parameter, more than one variable values. So this for this purpose you can use variable length arguments. So these arguments are called variable length arguments and are not named in the function definition, unlike formal arguments, positional, keyword and default arguments, like in this case. So this is the function definition of variable length. So I am giving one parameter here and the another parameter with prefix with star. It means this one is the variable length argument, right? So you can pass any number of argument in this case. So I can call, let me come to next slide. There is an example here, like in this case, you can see here, this one is the first parameter and this one is the variable length parameter. So what would happen when you will call this method? And one thing more, if you are passing variable length, remain empty if no additional argument are specified during the function call. Like in this case, since you are passing 10 only, so 10 will be stored in argument and this particular variable length argument would not contain any value. Now, in the second scenario, let's see second scenario, you are passing values 70, 60 and 50. So 70 would be stored in argument 1 and variable tuple would contain 60 and 50, right? Similarly, in this case, 2.3 will be stored in argument 1 and all these values would be stored in variable tuple, right? So, and this value is actually, this value would, like in this case, in this function calling, all these values, Anil, Moin and 2 and 1, 2, 3 would be stored in a tuple, right? And I can visit each value of this tuple. So, all these values would be stored in this particular tuple variable. So this is actually variable length argument. There is one more arbitrary keyword argument. So Python can accept multiple keyword argument, better known as keyword argument, and it is actually defined in this format, double asterisk, prefix with double asterisk. So it stores the argument in a dictionary instead of tuples. So in the previous case where variable length argument, we have seen that the values are stored in the form of tuple, but in this case the values are stored in the dictionary. Dictionary is actually a special type of collection of data where we store key and value pair. So we store the data in the form of key value pair in case of dictionary. So this will actually be a dictionary in this case. So by using a dictionary, this variable can preserve the names of the arguments, but it would not be able to keep their positions. So it actually preserve the keywords, right, not the position. So this is a arbitrary keyword argument, not the arbitrary positional arguments. This is to be noted here. Since keyword is a dictionary, you can iterate over them using the item method. So using the method of this is the dictionary method. Dot item is a special method of dictionary, and using this function I can read keyword key as well as value. So I can read both key value pair using the item method. There is an example here. So this is the function, right? A function definition where I am using a arbitrary keyword argument. And here in this case, one thing to be noted here, if you are using arbitrary keyword argument, it means you need to pass the value in the using the keyword, right? Like in this case, you are passing the value using the key value in the form of key value pair, like Agra is equal to Taj Mahal and Delhi is equal to Red Fort. So what keyword key argument will do? It will store this in the form of dictionary using key value pair, right? So somehow it will be stored in this format: Agra, and then Taj Mahal, and then comma, Delhi, colon, Red Fort. So actually it will be stored in this format somehow. I will discuss in detail in some other class how actually works, how dictionary works. So this is the way we use arbitrary keywords. So like in this case, I am reading the dictionary using the function items, and item will give me key value pair. So key value would be stored in K in this variable, and value would be stored in V, right? So in this way I can use key value pair. Very soon I will try to show you Python code where I would write this particular function. Let me in this current lecture we will discuss exercises related to the function. So write a function to check whether a number is prime or not. That we have already seen, right? Write a function to add arbitrary integers. How you can pass arbitrary integers. So you have already seen using variable length integer keyword. Write a function to receive multiple strings and count total characters. So you can write function for this particular exercises. Let me come to the ideally. So I need to pass keyword argument and variable length argument. I will try to show you how you can pass. So let me define a function. Define and function 1, and there is a variable a, and here you are passing keyword argument, variable keyword argument, right? And then print a, and I'm printing here. So let me print, and then print keywords. So this is K word, right? And then I will call this function 120 comma, and I will say let's say name is equal to Sahil and name is equal to Sahil and age is equal to 20 and address is equal to Delhi, right? And let's say what happened. Let me execute this code, and so you can see here. So 20 has been stored in A, and the rest of the argument is passed to this dictionary keyword. And how it is being stored? In the form of dictionary actually. So this is the dictionary. And if you want to read individual element of this dictionary, so I can write for loop for k comma v. So k is for key and v for value. For k v for in and k word dot items, right? Items. I can print here. Print key is and this is k, and then print value is value is v, right? So I can write this manner. Let me execute this one. So, and I'm just commenting out this one, all right? Then you can observe. So key is name and value is Sahil. Again, key is age and value is 20. Key is add and daily. So in this way, you can use the dictionary function. There is one more. There are several functions in dictionary. If I want to just access the keys only, like keys are name, age, and add. So I would write here keys function, keys, and then remove it w. So k and just print keys. So it would print keys only, and just execute this one. So you can observe. So it has printed keys only. And what is the keys here? So keys are name, age, and address. Similarly, here in this case, if I want to get values only, so I would write here values and just name it with the v, and values are v, right? And just so it would give me values only. So you can see here, so it is giving me values only, Sahil, 20, and Delhi. So in this way, you can use keyword, argument, and different type of argument actually. Let me come to the slide now. So we have seen how we can write function and how we can pass different type of arguments, and you need to solve these questions. So consider it on the basis of, these problems are actually given based on functions. So it is advisable to solve all these questions. Now I'm summarizing. So we had discussed positional. In today's class, we discussed positional arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments, variable length arguments. So we had discussed all these type of arguments, and we have seen how we can write function in Python. How can we pass different type of arguments, which are valid argument passing and which are not valid argument passing, that we have seen in today's class. So thank you so much for joining this class. We'll meet again in other lecture.